Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest problems with your clients in terms of delegation?
Generally, it starts with emotions. We've found that alpha men in particular, they think the best way to do it is for me to do it. That's kind of the emotion. And if somebody fails at something, aka you give somebody a task, then what you do is you take it back and you never give it again. When you give delegation, your first thought needs to be to give a delegation. And even if it fails, if it doesn't come the way you want it, as long as you provide the feedback effectively, then next time it'll be done correctly. But without going through those moments of failure, you can never truly get to a place where some of these tasks that may only take you 5 minutes a day never truly leave your plate. The big realization for me was when I realized they could also do it better than me. So I delegated a deck, and this was for like an executive presentation, and the deck came back better than I could have done it. And here I was thinking, I was the best. So that was a big moment for me where I was like, I'm going to try this stuff more. But it took me suffering with long hours and being less effective for a very long time for me to be able to come to that moment. I think there's something deeper that's possible here, though, where some of that talent can be unleashed because AI has empowered this assistant now to be at a whole new level.
Right.
There's absolutely some really exciting stuff that this technology is going to deliver. I'll just say with my assistants, we've seen assistants setting up automations now using Python scripting that the AI has helped them build with no computer science education whatsoever. So it's this, I'm the best, nobody else can do it as good as me. Nobody can do it the way I like it. And I'm only going to allow you to try a little tiny taste. And if you mess that up, then it's all over. We see that a lot, especially with men. With women, we see guilt a lot of the time, where they oftentimes don't feel they have the right to delegate or that they shouldn't ask for help. And we've got to empower them. You deserve this. The EA wants to help you. That's why they're here. They're excited for the opportunity, right? You've got to look at the full picture. So when you give them a task, you're giving them opportunity. You're giving back to a younger you. And that if it was me at the beginning of my career and I got one of these jobs where I got to do exciting things, although to the executive, these might seem like administrative nuisances, but to a younger you, they're a great opportunity, a great job, a way for them to support their family and opening up like a much brighter future for these folks. And so when you start to think about it that way, I've found with a lot of clients we work with, they start to think of it the opposite in the sense that by not delegating, they are not only making their own lives worse, but they're also making their assistant's life worse. And I would say the things that we really push our clients on in the beginning is a couple key things. Number one is you can't keep dividing business and personal. Business and personal cannot be divided like that in your life.
What does that mean?
They overlap constantly. And what we find a lot of people do is they'll say, no, I want somebody for my business stuff. I want somebody for my personal stuff. I want no overlap between those two things. It just doesn't work like that. And we found that the worst delegators do that. The worst delegators split those two parts of their lives. The best delegators in the world, they add those two together. And what they do is they focus on the output at the end of the day.
We've recently done a reorg of all of our EAs, so we now have an EA that's committed just towards travel. And so I'm going to Thailand for February and March. I thought it was very clear at delegating the information, and I was getting my wife saying, hey, when is this person going to actually send us the property? And then I kind of reinforced this saying, hey, we need to time box this, like this needs to be done in the next 48 hours. Gave me the options, and the options, my wife was not happy. And then I actually realized in that moment that I wasn't happy and that I actually need to demand a higher level because my wife wasn't happy. And on the radical candor side, I told this person in a very Canadian way that please, if it would be okay with you, could you quite possibly give us another set of properties that specifically are in this area or that have these amenities with them? But I wasn't as direct as I should have been. But I'm wondering what you would have done in that situation, or if there's something else that you've gained in your experience with your clients that can help me through that process.
That Radical Candor book is great. I highly recommend it. But the only thing I would say about the Radical Candor book that I think is often missed is why don't you want to give radical candor? And that's a question that I think people don't ask themselves. Like, why do you feel bad? You say Canadians. It's true, right? Canadians would rather avoid confrontation, right, than provide the feedback. There's something there where that's uncomfortable. And I'm interested. So is this EA business only EA?
This EA is actually only booking executive travel. So for us and our extended team.
The mistake you've made is you've separated your business and your personal, and that the EA that's working with you doesn't know the context of you, doesn't understand you, doesn't understand your wants and your needs. and you've called it executive, but every single executive has very, very different preferences. And so, what I've found with my EAs is they will screw up on travel in particular because it's a high risk item, quite a bit. And she made some of those mistakes in the early days. She doesn't make those mistakes anymore because she knows my personal preferences, right? And it gets to a point where what you are saying is reactive. What you are saying is we were provided with a travel package and it wasn't up to our standards. How about this though? Think about this for a second. Imagine you got provided with a travel package and it was better than you could have done yourself. It was things that you didn't even think about.
Right. Oh yeah. No, that'd be
That's
killer.
what you're fighting for.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Not what you're accepting, what you're looking for. And I'll throw you an example of what happened to me with my assistant a little while ago. So we have a big network of EAs on the back end. They're all talking to each other, sharing best practices. What worked for them, what didn't work for them. One day, my EA says to me, "Hey, Robert, go install this app on your phone. Here's the link." So I click it, install it. The EA network was talking about this app. It's called TripIt, and this app basically does all your travel, right? So it does a full itinerary. It puts your tickets in there, your hotel reservation numbers, your flight tickets, like it does everything. And so I just logged into my phone, and all of my travel for the next year is already all itinerarized, and and it can be updated and stuff as it gets closer or changed, but it's got all kind of itinerary. I didn't do a thing. Just click the link, installed, account already set up, everything already all loaded, and I can just go in there to pull kind of anything at any time. And so it's that difference with delegation that I think oftentimes people don't even understand the level that you can get to, where things like you don't even think about them at all.